Alright guys, so now that we've gone over circle vocabulary, we need to put this into practice. On this worksheet, you're going to find a large diagram just like this with two circles and a lot going on it. On your right, you'll have the full word bank of what you're going to be working with, and you're going to have to go through problems 1 through 20 to solve what each symbol means. I'll be going over 1, 3, and 5, as well as 2, 4, and 6 in this video. If you have more questions, please message me them on your own time. To start, number 1 wants us to label what segment LQ is. And remember, if you just have the bar above the two letters, we're talking about segments. So LQ is right here in our picture. It's branching off on the outside of our circle with one point touching it. Now if we have one segment going across with one point of tangency, we have to call this one a tangent. Number 1 would be labeled a tangent. So for number 2 is segment WY. And now WY is actually inside of our circle. Notice how it's actually not going outside and extending throughout, it's only touching the 2. So if there's one point on either side of the circle inside of our circle, we have to look at the chord. A chord is a line segment within a circle with two endpoints on the circle's edges. Since WY matches our definition, that means number 2 is a chord. Now number 3 is angle NQR. If we find it here, NQR is right here, with N having a point on the edge of the circle, your vertex being on the opposite side of the circle, and R on the edge of our circle as well. Since this angle does not rest on our center point P, we cannot call it a center angle, or the central angle as it says here. But what we can call it is an inscribed angle. Remember, inscribed angles exist inside of the circle, but their vertex rests on the edge of it. Not on the center point, it rests on the edge of your circle. So for number 3, we'll label this as an inscribed angle. Number 4 is looking at one specific point, and that point is X right here. Now that's sitting in the center of our smaller circle, so that means that this has to be our center point. For number 5 is having us look at an arc. When you see this dome shape on top of 3 letters, we're talking about an arc on the circle. So for here, R, W, U, we're talking about this larger one right here on the outside. And I'll highlight it with the purple so we can see. We're talking about this outer edge right here. If it's hard for you to see this on your own, I encourage you to color code it on your paper as well so you can see what it's talking about, because it's very easy for us to see it as the smaller one on the side. Now taking a look, we have to see which words have arc in it in our word bank. And those are only 1 and 2 here. We have the minor arc and the major arc. Now remember, minor arc means it's the smaller portion of the circumference being cut off by segments. Now, this is taking up a majority of our circumference on the smaller circle, so we can't call it minor. What we can call it is major. The major arc is the portion of the circumference that is largest when intersected by segments, which means the major arc would be our answer for number 5. Arc RWU is the major arc. And finally, we have line ST. And the reason why I say line is because it has the two arrows on the bar above the letters. So line ST is this large line going across our points here. So seeing how it goes all the way across, and it has one point that it's touching both circles, if it's only touching the circles at one point, then we have to call it a tangent. That one point is what makes the difference between the secants and the tangents. That's it for this worksheet. Please be sure to solve the rest on your own and submit it when you are done.